NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on speed by Toyota. Moving forward. Brought to you in part by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Welcome back. Trucks all on the line on pit road. Drivers are strapping in, about ready to start the engines. Let's take a closer look at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and the particulars with this racetrack.
This really doesn't tell the story, though, Michael. You see it's a little bit over 1.5 miles. The corners are 24 degrees, 2,300-foot front straightaway. But these guys can race from the bottom of this racetrack all the way up against the wall.
Some people will be able to make the track shorter than 1.5 miles, and some of them are going to make it quite longer than 1.5 miles because they measure the distance around the track in the center, and you're going to see guys below it, above it. The cool thing about this track, guys, is the way the tires fall off. The grip goes away, and these guys start scrambling. If I'm Ryan Newman, some of these guys that just ran this last cup practice, I'm feeling pretty cocky right now. I know what this track's doing, and I'm ready to go race them.
Let's talk a little bit about strategy as we look at our race analysis brought to us by Optima Batteries. 200 miles, 130 laps. We're saying the pit window around 50 to 55 laps. How much will the tires fall off in that time?
Well, they're going to fall off huge. And these guys will have 4 sets of tires for this race, including the ones that are on the truck. But NASCAR's already said they will have a competition caution at lap 25. That will give them 3 sets of tires left, or 2 sets of tires left for the last, 105 laps or so, including the ones on the truck. So tire management could be key here.
If you manage your tires and there's a caution with 5 to go, you can come and get tires, restart 10th or 12th, and win this race. That's what's fun. We've got so many variables, sort of like Martinsville last week. A lot of things that these crew chiefs and these drivers have to figure out during the course of these 200 miles in order to be ready, put themselves in a position to come off turn 4 side by side like we do every year here.
Well, let's get the adrenaline going up. Obviously, at this racetrack, there's high speeds, there's very tight racing, and the finishes have always been fantastic. So we need to fire the engines. Let's get out to the command.
For those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Commander-in-Chief of the VFW, Glenn Gardner Jr., as he gives the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
No nonsense there with that command. Drivers, start your engines. We want to see on the racetrack. That's what we will see next when we come back for the Easy Go 200. Welcome back for the Easy Go 200, Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the second time we've been here in 2008. It will be the 9th race that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series has run on this facility, and they're always fantastic finishes. We are going to show you the starting grid. It will roll across the bottom of the screen. It was set by owner's points. We were supposed to qualify this morning, but since there was no practice yesterday, instead of qualifying, they gave the trucks that time to do practice on this racetrack. So the qualifying was canceled and the grid was set by owner points. We want to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers. This week, we're focusing on the guys 10th and back, trying to get into that top 10. We'll start off with Terry Cook, right down lap.
Well, Rick, it's such an important thing to be in the top 10 because you get an opportunity to be on stage at the banquet coming up after the final race at Homestead, Miami. So that's a big deal for Terry Cook, and he's been in that top 10 4 different times. But you know what I love about NASCAR racing is it's such a family sport and an orientation. And we see here just before the race got started, we had a chance to look at maybe a future racer from the Cook family. That's little Cody Cook, Terry and Amy's young son, and his first time ever sitting in a big-time NASCAR Craftsman truck. Adam?
And 11th on the outside looking in as far as the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series points are concerned. Chad McCumbee in the 8th truck. He is rolling off in the 13th position here today. And he wants desperately to be in the top 10 at the end of the year. It would mean so much for this single truck operation. He was 19th in practice today, and that's pretty surprising when you look at their success at mile-and-a-half racetracks. He got a little cup time driving the 45 Sprint Cup Series car in practice moments ago. That should help him in the race once we go green. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at the guy that's 12th in points right now. There he is. It's the Zachary Toyota, and that is David Starr. David has been in the top 10 in points the last 4 seasons. He would desperately like to get back up in the top 10 to make it 5 in a row. You can see he's 115 points behind 10th. He's a 4-time winner in the series. His best point finish was back in 2006 when he finished 4th. David Starr will start this race in 14th. Mikey.
Let's look at Colin Brown, Phil. This cat's 177 points out of the top 10. It's going to be tough to get there from that far back because he has 3 other trucks that are separating him between where he is now and the top 10. This is our Rookie of the Year point leader by a huge margin. We know that this number 6 Roush Fenway truck will be back to the Truck Series in 2009. And Colin Brown will be driving it. So he'd love to finish up on a positive note and get that truck up into the top 10 in points.
We're going to ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being Mike Skinner. He will carry our Toyota on board from the 6th starting position.
We're also going to ride with our point leader, Johnny Benson. He's in the Toyota on board in his Toyota Certified Used Vehicles, number 23.
My guy's Todd Bodine, and we need to look at him. He had a rough practice this morning. The Lumber Liquidators onboard camera for Todd Bodine. We got to figure out how he progresses from this 5th spot because I didn't see a whole lot out of him this morning. I know they're concerned.
Mile-and-a-half racetrack's always good for Todd Bodine. Let's go back trackside for final thoughts with Ray Dunlap.
Well, I think it's very interesting, Rick, when we look at that front row. As you said, the field was set by owners' points, and there are our 2 championship chasers. But I think we need to look at the mile-and-a-half racetracks. There have been 75 1.5-mile races in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And, of course, Todd Bodine at the very top of that list with 8 wins. But right below him, how about Ron Hornaday? 6 times in his career on mile-and-a-halfs he's gone to victory lane. And there's a lot of other drivers that would be on this list, but I thought it would be important to look down at Johnny Benson. Only 2 times has he gone to victory lanes on mile-and-a-halfs. And the important thing to remember, 4 races to go in this championship chase, and 3 of those are on mile-and-a-halfs. Adam?
If you're a sports fan today, you obviously have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series tuned in, but perhaps you have your eye on college football and some teams trying to stay unbeaten today. Texas, Oklahoma State, and Penn State among those who are yet to lose in 2008. What about Kyle Busch? He too is undefeated in a truck right here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 3 series starts, 3 wins. All told, he's led 149 laps. And what about the last 2 Sprint Cup races here? He's led 250 circuits in that series, winning in the spring. He will be a player today, rolling off in the 3rd position.
This is big, though, Rick.
Would you call that odds-on favorite, then?
You got to like his record, but think about these front row starters. There could be a 10-point swing right here on lap 1 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've already documented you can run all over this racetrack. If I'm tuning in and I'm watching the trucks for the first time and I wonder what's going to go on, watch this. This is going to be big.
First lap, and it's Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday making up row number 1. Who will lead the first lap? Who will get those 5 bonus points? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air, side by side at the start-finish line.
Even so, look at Kyle Busch. He doesn't want either one of them to lead this race.
Kyle Busch makes the bold move on the bottom of the racetrack and takes the lead coming out of 2.
Ryan Newman up at the top of the racetrack making it 3 wide.
He was just out there. He knows there's a lot of grip up on the top of that racetrack. He didn't waste any time going up there. Look, into turn 3, all the way to the high side of the racetrack. 3 wide on lap 1.
3 wide as they work their way through 3 and 4. Again, that's Ryan Newman in the number 2. He was on the high side of the racetrack making the move toward the front. And it's going to be Kyle Busch who will lead the first lap. Ron Hornaday right behind him. Johnny Benson 3rd.
Ryan Newman started 10th, running 6th, lap 1.
Todd Bodine is happy that these guys got to, whoa, he squints him into the wall. That was close. Newman was on the outside of Bodine, and he didn't realize it. Almost took Newman into the wall.
That would have been a difficult start for Ryan Newman's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series career, since it is his first start. Let's take another look at that.
Ryan's probably thinking, oh, that's how we're going to play, huh? Look, this is the first lap, making his move around Rick Crawford on the first lap. Next time around, it gets a little dicey for him.
Yeah, he passed Mike Skinner and Eric Darnell. The next time, you see Scott Speed on the bottom of the racetrack right there, 3 wide. Watch him go on the high side.
Look at that. Right up against the wall, coming out of turn number 4. And again, that was the first lap for Ryan Newman.
Now he's ducked down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to go under under Johnny Benson on the low side. I was saying Todd Bodine and them, those guys didn't like that truck, but they got to work on it, Phil, after practice. That's unusual for the truck series.
Very rare, because normally all these races are impounded after qualifying. With no qualifying because of rain yesterday, then these guys were able to work on these trucks. It's just kind of a traditional weekend like we used to have. But I was talking to Mike Hillman Jr., Todd Bodine's crew chief, and he said, we were not very good. We took a big swing at it here before the race.
And that's a swing that they couldn't have taken if it had been a normal race weekend. They would have had pretty much what they had. They were able to work on that truck, hopefully improve it. Look at Newman, up high, down low.
Looked like Johnny bobbled a little bit there right in turn number 4, and it allowed Ryan to get a run on him, take over the 3rd spot, or the 4th spot.
Looks like Ryan Newman's comfortable up on the high side of the track. Well, that is, unless Todd Bodine tries to take that territory away from him.
Watch the right side of your screen. That's when Ryan Newman was going to make the move around the outside of Todd Bodine. He gets right here and he says, I'm not sure Todd knows that I'm there. But it doesn't look like Ryan made any contact with the wall. Watch, here's another view of it. Watch, this is the Toyota onboard of Mike Skinner.
This is just a veteran saying, I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to roll off the gas. And when it all went down, he said, I was right. That wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that was a law of diminishing return right there, and he knew that he wasn't going to go there. Adam?
And in the category of no news is good news, Ryan Newman has been silent on the radio. We saw how good he was in practice earlier today. 10th to 4th in 5 laps. I think the deuce is going to be just fine.
Ryan Newman running down at the bottom of the racetrack. It seems like he's been making most of his momentum on the high side of the track, but that's where he's been able to pass people, and using that momentum coming off of turn 4 has rocketed that number 2 in front of quite a few trucks. Take a look at this. So Johnny Benson's dropped way back.
Started on the pole, and he's already back outside of the top 10, falling behind Scott Speed and Terry Cook. That'll put him in 9th or 10th spot. Phil, this is not a good start.
It's not. He's lost 4 positions in the last lap. Johnny's running down the middle of the racetrack right there. You hear him back way off. Chad McCumbee drives by on the outside.
McCumbee talked about how poor he thought his truck was handling in practice earlier, but right now he's running better than Johnny.
Well, and these guys, Rick, they're filling their trucks out. If you're good, like we saw Ryan Newman make a big move early, then that's great. But if you're not good, struggling like we see Johnny Benson doing right now, he knows in about another 18 laps he's going to get a chance to work on that thing. And they have proven time and time again, Trip Bruce and that team, when he gets to pit road, they can make that truck better.
But Chad McCumbee was driving away from Johnny Benson. There's a battle right there. That's a battle for the 6th spot. Todd Bodine on the inside. Watch on the right side. Here's Scott Speed on the inside. Todd Bodine in the middle. Scott's going to get a little bit loose. Oh, look how tight that got. Todd actually squeezed Terry Cook, and it was going to be the same situation as the Ryan Newman situation off turn 2. Terry backed out.
Terry Cook still trying to get by Todd Bodine now. Terry Cook in that 59 Team ASC Toyota Tundra, getting by the Lumber Liquidators number 30.
It's great to see that 59 truck with a good run. Terry deserves a good run. Jim Harris deserves a good run. These guys got back together here. The last race at Martinsville looked like they have a good run going.
I like what I'm seeing out of that team, starting to feel some of that old magic.
Out in front, Kyle Busch is going to lose the lead to Ron Hornaday. Hornaday made the pass on the inside. Here comes those 5 bonus points that Hornaday was looking for on lap number 1.
He hasn't got him yet.
Kyle Busch isn't backing down, that's for sure.
Ron said, man, how about a break? I need them 5 points worse than you can imagine, son.
Give the brother a break here.
Give me some slack. I need some points.
There will be the 5 bonus points. So Hornaday has now led a lap. Takes over the lead here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Kyle Busch drops back almost 6 truck lengths.
Hornaday leading the race. Johnny Benson all the way back to the 12th spot. The difference between where they are right now.
Boy, Ron Hornaday right up next to the wall coming off 2.
Somewhere around 65 points or so.
Yeah, actually 63. There's a 2-point difference now between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday. Adam.
And they just told Ryan Newman on the radio, you are running away from everything behind you. He feels very confident in the early going. Just came on the radio and said this truck is a tick on the loose side. Newman riding 4th, and a couple of spots behind him, Todd Bodine. Todd actually riding in the 7th position right now. Phil talked about the wholesale changes they made after that only practice session of the weekend earlier today. The word for Todd in the early going, tight in the center of the corner, Ray.
Well, if he's a tick loose, then we can tell you that Johnny Benson is extremely loose. At first he thought he might have a flat tire, but he says now he believes it's just chassis issues. They're going to go down on the track bar. That'll help tighten it up a little bit. They'll pull a rubber out of the right rear. That'll help tighten it up a little bit. Johnny said right now on a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 7.5 to an 8 on the loose side.
And generally, when you get to be 9 or 10, that's when you spin out. So
that says you're actually trying to turn back to the right.
He's right up against spinning out right now.
Ron Hornaday in front of the field here, and Ron Hornaday actually now in front of Johnny Benson in the points battle.
If the race were to end right now.
And it won't.
And it's not.
It's not even close. We've completed 13 of the scheduled 130 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday in front of the field. Welcome back to the Easy Go 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. You see a little bit of grass and, well, some greenery there in the splitter of the 81. That is because Donnie Leah had to take evasive action and went right down on the apron and in the infield.
He took evasive action because of this. He spun out. And if you want to know how important air is to these trucks, that truck right behind him just swiped a little bit of the air off that rear spoiler, and Donnie Leah was passing people. He was going to town. He said, I like my truck. Next thing he knows, he's backwards.
Yeah, he did a nice job of keeping that truck out of the wall. A number of trucks on pit road down there, Adam.
And a little surprised to see Terry Cook coming down the pit lane. You can't take fuel here. Cook had started 16th, worked his way solidly in the top 10, had been very quiet on the radio. Now, there may have been an issue since we last heard from him. It will be 4 tires, but no fuel. You can't take fuel to the competition caution, Ray.
2 rounds down on the left side of the track bar, also around a wedge. Excuse me, right side on the track bar and around a wedge here for Johnny Benson, all trying to tighten this thing up. No fuel in the truck, but they are going to put tires on here so that when they come back later for the competition caution, they can only get fuel then.
I like the strategy a lot, Rick. They've mixed things up here.
Well, but a lot of guys did, it look like. I mean, there was quite a few trucks that were on pit road that probably will use that same strategy.
Aaron's lucky dog to Chrissy Wallace. The restart after the competition yellow on lap 25 is going to be fun.
It will be fun. Stay tuned.
And just to clarify for your all's information,
Thursday night on an all-new wreck, the Big Toe Show hits Chicago, and O'Hara's out to prove they're the best in the business. But will a last-minute wreck ruin their trucks and their chances at the show? Wreck Thursday night, 10 Eastern, exclusively on Speed. Staying out on the racetrack, that 33 of Ron Hornaday, Matt Crafton, Ryan Newman, Kyle Busch, and Eric Darnell. Your top 5 as we come back to the start-finish line. Green flag back in the air.
Remember, all these trucks up front stayed on the racetrack on this caution flag.
Some guys that felt like they needed some adjustments on their trucks, Phil. They wanted to switch things up a little bit. Johnny Benson, Terry Cook, they got 4 tires just then, among others. That means when this competition caution flies in about 7 laps from now, they're just going to come in, get some gas, and try to use the adjustments that they made to their truck to keep them up near the front. But there will be no match for the new tires that are going to come after them here in a little while.
Not at all. And NASCAR may even delay that competition caution. They may say, okay, we want 25 green flag laps. They will discount the caution laps that they've run, and they will go maybe to 27, 28, even 29.
And if I'm Johnny Benson and Terry Cook right now, I'm being easy on my tires. I'm going to run 4 or 5 laps as easy as I can, just maintain my track position, hoping that they'll be okay when they go back green and the whole world has new tires around them.
Michael, it's not okay. Not okay for Johnny Benson. He said they have a tire that is loose. At first he thought they were blowing up the engine, but he said, no, it's definitely a tire that's loose. It's about to shake the steering wheel right out of my hands.
Now, do you think, Phil, when you're in a championship battle, that you feel every little
and hear everything
shake and shimmy in a truck? And remember at Martinsville last week, Johnny got bumped and he said, my truck's it's gone crazy. It's not right anymore.
I think the tire's flat.
Yep.
And Tripp Bruce said, calm down. It looks like it's okay. And he went on to win the race. So it's going to be Tripp's job to keep Johnny calm if at all possible. But darn, when that thing's shaking, you're on 180 mile an hour here. You need somebody to tell you, you need to know more than it might be okay. It's going to be okay.
Ryan Newman has taken second away from Matt Crafton and now sets his sights on Hornaday.
And I wonder if Ryan Newman knows that Ryan Hornaday is battling for a championship. Would love to get the 5 extra points for leading the most laps.
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I mean, he knows, but I don't think
he cares.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He's going to the front.
You know, he drives for Kevin Harvick. You know that, right?
Yeah, but I don't think Kevin gave him the orders to stay behind Ron. He probably said, you know, we need to win a race for that 2 truck.
And that's exactly what Ryan Newman is trying to do, as he has taken over the lead at Atlanta. Newman in his first ever Truck Series start, and he is in front of Ron Hornaday and Matt Crafton.
He's trying to join a pretty exclusive group of the guys that have won in the first ever Truck Series start. We heard Ray Dunlap tell us before the race that only 3 guys have done it in the history of the series.
Now, on the other hand, Ron might be confused about what's going on right now.
Hey, wait a minute. That's my teammate up there.
Why is he doing that?
Yeah. But Ryan Newman looking very good, again, starting 10th in this race, and has already made his way up to the front.
I'm really impressed with the run Matt Crafton has right now, because he struggled a little bit in that first or the only practice we've had. He was only 21st quickest in that practice this morning, and he has run some great lap times, stayed up in the top 3 here.
You know, another guy who was struggling in practice was Mike Skinner. Adam, have they figured anything out with that truck?
Mike Skinner talking about the changes they made in our setup show earlier today, because as you mentioned, Rick, they were not satisfied in practice. He said they went back to the old reliable setup. Well, he was not very good on that first run of the day, so they implied a similar strategy to what we've seen some other guys do, and that is come down at lap 16, get your tires then. Their plan, pit for fuel only when the competition caution comes out sometime around lap 25.
But what does Johnny Benson do now? If that vibration's still there, there's the competition yellow.
Competition caution has come out here on lap 26.
Yeah, they did wait for the 25 laps. They did not discount the caution laps that we ran earlier, so it's going to be interesting to see on this restart, as you talk about, Michael. We're going to have a lot of guys with old tires, and a lot of the other guys are going to have fresh tires, and I think that, as you mentioned, the old tires are going to be no match for the new tires.
No, and it's going to get fun when they take off. I promise.
They're going to be out front, and they're not going to have as good of tires as the guys behind them.
But I'm still wondering what Johnny Benson does here. That team's got to make a decision. They could put on 4 more tires, Phil, and just save the ones they're taking off for later in the race if necessary.
Yeah, they could. I don't know. That would be a huge gamble, I think.
But if you're shaking.
Exactly. I mean, don't you have to come in and either change tires or.
It looks like Johnny's guys are up on the wall with tires, so they may be doing just that. Going to take those tires off, make sure the wheels look okay. And they may even send them back to Goodyear to have the balance rechecked on those tires.
Exactly. I think that's what they have to do. Tough start for our point leader, no doubt.
Very tough situation.
You know what's really impressive, I'm looking at our scoring monitor. Ryan Newman ran his fastest lap of the race on the 22nd lap.
Wow,
that's unheard of.
Right after the restart.
Absolutely.
A little clean air on the front of that truck, and he went really fast. Obviously, he was faster than the competition when they threw the green at the start, but he had to pass all those people.
Right.
He got her stretched out and in clean air, and he was able to run a really fast lap. That does bode well for that team. No one else has ran their fastest lap any later than lap 6, Phil. If that tells you what an accomplishment that was for Newman.
The field on its way down pit road. Adam Alexander.
Matt Crafton started 4th today. He is in the 3rd position. The plan for them under this competition caution, pitting at lap 26, 4 tires, fuel, and just top it off. No adjustments for Crafton. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman has had a great start. Beginning in the 10th position, up to the lead under this, our 2nd caution of the day. 4 tires for him, a little air pressure to help a loose condition in the 2 truck. Ray?
In the middle of your screen, you see the VFW Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday. They are going to get 4 tires there, and they're going to take a half a pound out of the right rear tire. Air pressure adjustment. On the bottom, Johnny Benson, they were going to go fuel only, but Benson said, we can't take that chance. I think that's a left side tire that was left loose. So they're putting 4 tires on this certified used vehicles Toyota, and he'll get back to the racetrack. We'll see if his vibration is gone when he gets back to green flag racing.
See, Mike Skinner, when everybody rolled to pit road to make their pit stop, he went right behind the wall with that 5 truck.
You see the guys pushing down on the back of the truck. It almost looks like there's a spring laying by the right front tire. They're changing springs on that truck.
Do they think they can get this done without losing a lap?
Well, if they lose a lap, they can possibly get it back from Aaron's.
Aaron's is making dreams come true and giving laps away.
We'll keep our eye on what's going on with Mike Skinner. The crowd waiting for another great show here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Spotlight shining on our championship. Atlanta Motor Speedway always has great finishes. I understand now. Welcome back to the Easy Go 200. Adam, what's going on down there?
The word for Mike Skinner was very loose in and then tied off, and they have pulled this thing behind the wall. They have changed both springs on the front end. You can see Doug Richard, the crew chief, right in the middle of the changes. 6 different crew members trying to get Skinner where he needs to be. A guy, as we documented in our setup show earlier, has had so much success here, not working out for him today.
This is big too, Phil. He's going to lose 2 laps at least, so it'll be very tough to ever get those laps back. This is a big gamble, and to me a mistake by this 5 team.
Here they come back to the green flag. In front, it's that VFW number 33 of Ron Hornaday.
His team beat his teammate off pit road. That's big.
Terry Cook goes all the way to the top of the racetrack. Terry's restarted this race back in the 7th spot.
Chad McCumbee, their team did a great job getting him back out 3rd, but now Matt Crafton wants that position. So Crafton will take 3rd away as we see Skinner rolling back out on the racetrack. But again, that'll be his 3rd lap that he's down.
3 laps down. And it's really hard to maintain pit road speed right there, isn't it, Phil? Frustrated, 3 laps down, just watching the field go flying by.
I have to believe that they thought they could make those changes inside of 1 lap, because then they knew they would be in position to get the Aaron's lucky dog. Unfortunately for them, it didn't happen.
The one thing that he's got going for him is if we do have another caution here before the field is able to start lapping some of the other trucks, he's actually the highest scored lap down vehicle.
They're going to catch the back of the field early in this race. We saw him run 16 green flag laps when at the start of the race, and had already began lapping trucks at the back. So it needs. You're right. Right now he's in a good position, or the best position.
It won't last long, though.
Yeah. It won't last long.
Look at Kyle Busch making the move on Todd Bodine. Kyle Busch taking the spot away.
Kyle's going to slide up the racetrack in front of that Lumber Liquidators Toyota. There's a big wad of trucks back here. Denny Hamlin leads that group. There's the 22 of Scott Speed on the inside. I think Chad McCumbee is one of the guys that put. Terry Cook bounces off the wall.
Bounces into the wall. It looks like he's got some problems still keeping it going straight.
Recovers from it. You're going to bounce off that wall when you run up there next to it all day. I mean, you just watch at the end of this race, there'll be several trucks with skid marks on the right side where they just overshot the turn just a little bit.
You know, Michael, I was talking to some of the guys in the garage here, and he said the track right now is really reminiscent of Darlington before they repaved it, and the old Rockingham racetrack.
It reminds you a whole lot of that.
See, Chad McCumbee is backing up right now in that number 8. We see Brendan Gaughan making his way toward the front. Terry Cook stayed off the wall that time.
You can see it hadn't hurt the performance of that 59 truck.
Watch the right side of your screen. He's looking to the outside of Chad McCumbee. Just gets a little bit too close to the outside wall. Fairly incidental contact, and away he goes.
That's when you say, okay, I got it.
That's where the limit is.
I've set my boundaries here.
Ray, it looks like the 23 is still falling back if they figured anything out with that truck.
Well, the good news for his pit crew is they found out there were no loose lug nuts on any of the wheels, so they cleared that. But Trip Bruce said he felt like there was something wrong with the right rear tire. They don't know if it equalized or whether or not it was just losing some air pressure. They've taken those 4 tires back to the garage area, and Johnny Benson from the cockpit said, do not put that set of wheels back on. Get us another set of wheels, dismount those tires, and put those tires on another set of wheels. So they're working on that right now. And I also want to call attention, guys, to TJ Bell, who has moved his way up to the 10th position right now. TJ started all the way back in 21st today, and that 7 truck has been flying towards the front.
Hey, Ray, it's been flying lately, too. He's the only guy coming in here that finished in the top 10 the last 4 races. That TRG team led by Butch Hilton has really turned the corner.
Take a look at this. Kyle Busch making the pass on Matt Crafton. Busch moving back to the front, reminiscent of the other 3 starts he has made at this track.
The last time by, that was the fastest truck on the track. He was faster than our leader, Ryan Newman. He moves into the third position, and look, right up ahead of him sets those 2 leaders.
Yeah. And all the Harvick incorporated right in front of him.
All the talk in the garage area was that these were the
probably the 88.
88 slowed down.
Running 4th right now, very slow through turn 1 and 2. Todd Bodine has already gone by.
This could help
There
define.
went Denny Hamlin.
Help us define the championship a little bit closer, Phil. This guy was lurking in that third spot in the points with a chance to close in, but now he's got some serious issues. I thought the motor sounded off when he went by.
He was 227 points out of the lead in third coming into this race, and now this has got to be disappointing for Matt Crafton. Take a look at this. Kyle Busch to the inside of Ryan Newman. This is for second.
You know, it's ironic that these two guys here, both with so much experience at this racetrack. Kyle Busch won the last three, the only 3 times he's ever been here in a truck, and they ran the most laps of anybody in that practice session. Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman.
Kyle Busch trying to complete the pass. He slides up in front of that 2 of Ryan Newman, and he will move to second now. Here's 8th and 9th. TJ Bell, as Ray had just documented, moving up into the top 10. Now he's battling for the 8th spot. Eric Darnell.
This is fun watching TJ Bell make his splash onto the big scene here of NASCAR racing. 4 straight top 10s and looking for more.
We talked to him earlier today during that practice session, and he said that he really felt like this team could very well contend for a win here before too much longer.
Adam Alexander, what's going on with Crafton?
Crafton has just pulled away. He brought it down pit road. They went under the hood of the 88. His crew chief, Bud Haveley, said it sounds like something's broken or perhaps it's lost a spark plug. Not sure how that would have happened in the early part of this race, but they've determined nothing they can do to fix it, so they're going to send him out right around, see what will happen. But for a guy running in the top 5 today and entering third in points, it's not going to be a pleasant afternoon for the 88 bunch.
Discouraging for Matt Crafton as he makes his way back out on the track. And now Crafton moves into that lucky dog position, so Mike Skinner won't get the lucky dog if the caution were to come out. Ron Hornaday doesn't want to see any cautions. He's got that truck moving in the right direction, sitting in front of the field here at Atlanta. NASCAR fans come out and witness the crowning of this year's NASCAR Sprint Cup champion at Homestead Miami Speedway. The ticket packages are still available and start at just $55. You can visit www.homesteadmiamispeedway.com/speedtv or call 1-877-515-7223. Mention the speed offer and you will automatically be entered to win a pit road upgrade. Championship hopes probably gone for Matt Crafton. Adam?
And nothing has been said since what we reported a moment ago in the conversation they had on the radio when Matt had made his way down pit road. But as you can see, they have taken this 88 truck and pulled it behind the wall, checking everything they can under the hood to see if there is something they can do to get this engine back where it is running properly and he can go out and finish this race. Third in the standings entering today, and if he finishes outside the top 30 this afternoon, especially when you look at where a guy like Todd Bodine, who was right behind him, the points is, and Hornaday leading, it would be a big-time challenge for them to have a chance at a title running the way they are right now.
No, they had to win out. They needed to run top 2, 3 at worst for the rest of the season, have any hope for a championship. Mark him off. Now we got to find out what happens to Todd Bodine. We might mark him off. It might indeed, for sure, become a 2-man race today.
Which is what I said yesterday.
Yesterday, but it wasn't for sure at that point.
Okay.
But if either Todd or if Johnny Benson or Ron Hornaday have a good showing, which we would expect here, they could eliminate Todd Bodine from the
definitely. If they outrun him, he's going to be eliminated. Only 3 races to go. We know he can't win this championship.
Again, we'll stop at Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami to find out who the champion will be. The Crawford just had a handful of race truck there.
See right there, he's following the 99 of Eric Darnell right in front of our championship point leader, Johnny Benson. Actually coming into this race, he was a point leader. Right now, he's being shown 1 lap down. Let's take a look at what happened to Rick over there. See him side by side right now with Johnny Benson.
Check out the lap truck of Brent Raymer. He just almost spins out, and Rick almost spun out at the same time. That was a glob of trucks.
Yeah, as a reaction to he's seeing that black truck of Brent Raymer getting a little bit loose.
This is JB.
Johnny Benson, that's Johnny's view of it right there. You see both of those trucks get sideways simultaneously right in front of Johnny.
Johnny's had a rough start, but he's raced back into the top 10. So rebounding nicely from a bad start.
Yeah, and the one thing that we have the advantage of in the booth is we can always see the points as they're running on the racetrack. So at with 50 laps complete. Hornaday is leading this race. Johnny Benson's running 10th. Well, that means that there's a 4-point difference between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday right now as they run on the racetrack. So this points battle is really tight on every lap.
Well, and you can see Crawford working his way back inside Johnny Benson. Mike Skinner, Johnny Benson, these trucks aren't where they need to be today. Phil, their teammate, Scott Speed, he's able to have a decent pace in that number 22 truck. He's running in the 6th spot. It's just a little confusing how those other two, heck, with the last mile and a half, what, at Vegas, Skinner wins.
Right.
And here he has to pit and put new springs in.
Yeah, big change for Mike Skinner, and obviously a frustrating day for Mike Skinner. How about Scott Speed, though, as we talk about him running well? Johnny Benson now continuing to try to break back up a little further into this top 10. He's running 10th now.
See that 23 truck right there at Johnny Benson? That splitter is up off the racetrack down the straightaway. He is conventional. You see it. It's down close to the racetrack in the corners, but when he gets to the straightaway, it lefts up now. Conversely, look at our leader, Ron Hornaday, the 33 or the 51 of Kyle Busch, the 2 of Ryan Newman. When they get to the straightaway, watch where that splitter is on these guys.
They're lower in the straightaway. They're lower on the straightaway than Johnny Benson is in the turn.
There it is right there. Ron Hornaday right down on the racetrack. That's not what Johnny Benson's truck looks like.
And that's engineered out. Those guys had to work long and hard to get that truck to ride at that attitude on the straightaway and still handle through the turns.
And that was Colin Brown right there going a lap down. That's a very good truck out of the Roush Fenway stables. They've been struggling today. They've already gone a lap down. Ray?
Johnny Benson asking Trip Bruce on the radio, how long till we get lapped here? He said, I'm telling you, something is very wrong with this truck. Now remember, guys, he was terrible loose on that first run. They went down on the track bar, pulled a rubber out, and made wedge adjustments. Then they went more wedge adjustment on the left side on the second pit stop on lap 25. And Johnny Benson said now the truck is terrible tight in the center. He can barely turn it. So whatever it is that's wrong with this truck, obviously it's not going with the adjustments that Trip Bruce wanted to try to make it better. Adam?
Todd Bodine was fighting tight on that first run of the day. They pitted at lap 27, got 4 tires, topped it off with fuel, and made adjustments. Todd on the radio said it continues to be tight, so anticipate another adjustment when they make their way back down pit road. And what about Scott Speed? Made his NASCAR debut here back in the spring, and he's passed a lot of trucks in the last couple of weeks. Last week at Martinsville, outside the top 30, finishing 7th, and here today starting 11th up to 6th in the running order, and right now the best of the Bill Davis Racing trucks. You talk about a kid that has grown up in the last 7 months. Speed certainly has done that.
Now we're hearing a lot of, okay, my truck is loose or my truck is tight. We talk about this racetrack being so wide and so many different lines. Can't you run up near the wall if you've got, say, for example, a tight race truck?
You can't overcome a bad truck. You've got different grooves to accent what you've got. If you're a little tight down low, you can run up high. But if your truck won't turn, it won't turn down low and it won't turn up high. So a lot of people think that you can just go run high and make everything better. You can't. You got to have that truck up under you in order to take it up and run, what, 3 inches off the wall? That's what sometimes it's less than that, but that's the goal, is to run right next to that wall. And if it won't turn, you just simply can't do that.
Great battle right here brewing up for second. Ryan Newman chased down the 51 of Kyle Busch. Took a run at him. These trucks are very fast, along with our leader, Ron Hornaday. But right now, Ron Hornaday is trouble. Brent Raymer spinning down through the grass.
It almost got away from him in traffic over there off turn 4 a few laps ago, and it does get away from him this time.
Gone about 30 laps of green flag run.
Now we start talking about tire management. We have to be smart about what we do. You got to come get tires.
I think you have to. We've got 73 laps to go. It'll be 72 by the time they get to pit road. They can put another set of tires on right now and know, that they have another set in the pits for the guys that have only put one on.
You got to come get tires now.
I think you have to, absolutely.
Johnny Benson,
now the guys that have already put 2 sets of tires on, they have to think about that now. They're not, they're struggling because this is going to be their last set. I don't think they can afford to put any tires on unless Johnny can have that other set of tires rebounded and have them in the pits for the next time around.
There's Brent Raymer making the slide through the infield. We've seen that already from Donnie Leah. And now Brent Raymer also bringing out the caution. It's the third one of the day. The second caution was a competition caution because of the lack of track time for the Truck Series.
Ron Hornaday and our leaders had lapped all the way up to the 17th spot.
And Ron Hornaday had a 6-second lead when the caution came out.
And it appeared he could run 2 or 3 tenths quicker than anybody on a given lap. We seen him settle in about 33.40, but then one time he come by and run a 33.10. No one else did anything near that.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to Jack Sprague in that number 60, so he will be able to get a lap back. That will put 18 on the lead lap.
Our 17th place truck, Jason White, that's a good run for him. He was able to get around Jack, avoid going a lap down. So a solid run for that gunbrokers.com Dodge this week. Top 15 finish at Martinsville for Jason last week in the Billy Ballou truck. Moves into the 08, and he's heading toward another one this week.
Yeah, back it up with another top 15 would be a great day for Jason White.
Two different teams. Who will come down? Who will make tire changes?
Ron Hornaday's coming down.
Ron Hornaday has decided to make the hard left turn. He brings his VFW Chevy Silverado onto pit road. Kyle Busch is behind him. Ryan Newman as well. Todd Bodine.
All of our lead lap trucks come to pit road for service.
Adam Alexander.
Pit stops at lap 59. Newman continues to say a little bit loose. It will be 4 tires fuel, and they will make a chassis adjustment. Slight air pressure as well for the 2 of Ryan Newman. Ray.
Ron Hornaday came in with on the very top of your screen. Now Rick Wren said, let's do fuel only here and save those tires. And the driver said, look, this time I got to overrule you. Let's get those tires on right now. They put 4 tires on with no chassis adjustment for the 33. He is on his way down pit road. Johnny Benson also coming in to make a pit stop there. Benson came in 10th. Hornaday came in as the leader.
Looked like maybe Johnny just got 2 tires there, Phil.
That's what it looked like, 2 tires for him. He's going to get great track position, but will not have the 4 fresh tires that Ron Hornaday has.
And so Hornaday and Benson leave pit road 1 and 2. But again, we've got some trucks that stayed on the track. We'll be back. Welcome back. It's time to test your Truck Series knowledge with the Aaron's Lucky Guess Trivia question. Our broadcast partner, Michael Walkup, will be making his 1,000th NASCAR start when he starts the Sprint Cup race tomorrow. How many of them have come in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series?
I know.
And by the way, there's only one person that has started more races than you. That is a phenomenal accomplishment, Michael.
I think it just means I'm old.
No.
Basically.
I think it means you're durable.
Persistent. Hey, I'm wondering what they did in that 23 pit. He came in 8th, 2nd. Ray, you got a report. Did they put on those scuffed tires that they thought they had a wheel shaking on?
Just like you were talking about, Michael, they went with those scuffs, but they did rights only. So by doing that, it gets them the track position right here and also leaves them with more tires to use later on in the race. And as I said, it was a big debate between Rick Wren and Ron Hornaday as what to do, but they went with 4 tires there on that pit stop on lap 59. Let's check in with Adam.
How about Denny Hamlin making his 2nd truck start of the year? 20th is where he started, 7th where he is now. Lost a couple of positions on that exchange of pit stops. This is a really easy job. 4 tires fuel and a slight adjustment. Hamlin tight before the caution, guys.
I'm sorry. You're right. It is actually an easy job. We're just supposed to talk. But sometimes we have problems with that, and me more than most. All right, here they come back to the green flag. It's Ron Hornaday right in front of Johnny Benson, Kyle Busch, Todd Bodine, and Ryan Newman.
Look at Kyle Busch jump to the outside right off the bat to try to get by that 23 of Johnny Benson.
He's going to bring a bunch of his buddies with him, too. Johnny's going to be in trouble on those 2 right side tires right now. 3 or 4 laps later, maybe it'll stabilize, but right now he's going to have to be careful because they're going to be coming around him on both sides.
A lot of guys trying to make good use of 4 fresh tires.
There goes Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman has fast truck. Look at all this traffic back here. There's Brian Scott, that black truck on the outside. Brendan Gaughan right behind him. David Starr. There's Donnie Lee in the middle. Dennis Setzer in the 18 truck.
2 and 3 wide as they make their way through the Tri-Oval and into turns 1 and 2.
And this is Atlanta Motor Speedway. You can do this 2 and 3 wide around here.
I just love it.
Chrissy Wallace in that number 9.
People ask all the time, what's the hardest track? No, all the tracks are difficult. and they're all interesting. What makes this job hard is those people you're racing with. You know, there's 32 guys out there that have the desire to beat you, and that's what makes this job hard.
There's Ryan Newman right there taking over the 3rd spot from the Lumber Liquidators Toyota of Tab O'Dine. You see Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch getting a little bit smaller in the windshield out there.
Amazing how those guys are pulling away. Ron Hornaday has been so strong. Kyle Busch trying to stay with him, but he was 0.3 of a second behind. This time when they crossed the start-finish line, we're at the halfway point of this race.
And you just got to really appreciate the job that Mike Hillman Jr. and Sr. did on that 30 truck after practice this morning for Todd Bodine. They were struggling, now solidly in the top 5, and looking like he's trying to get more.
All the Bill Davis trucks right here. You can throw a blanket over them. Scott Speed there on the inside in the 22. We're riding along with Johnny Benson in his Toyota Tundra on board. That's a close call there. And Mike Skinner's right in this mix as well.
Yeah, Terry Cook there just about ran out of room on the outside. Terry's been running that high side since the very early part of this race. You see him side by side back there with Scott Speed. That is a battle in the top 10.
Scott Speed's trying to shut the door on Terry Cook, but Terry says, man, I'm over here to the right. Give me a little room. I'm going to be coming through.
I'm giving you plenty of room. I'm just running up here on the top of the racetrack by myself here.
I'm running so high, I even tried to get out of here once.
Thank goodness there was a wall here that kept me within the confines of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Terry Cook able to get by that 23 of Johnny Benson.
It's Travis Quapple in the 09. Hasn't been much of a factor up to this point. He's running 11th right now, trying to stay up with Scott Speed. Riding along with Mike Skinner, a disappointing day for Skinner. He's actually 4 laps down to the field.
3 of those laps he lost while changing front springs on that 5 truck, and then 1 he lost after he came back to the track. Just couldn't get it up under him even after they changed the springs.
Out in front of the field, it's Ron Hornaday. Right behind him is Kyle Busch. Now, Ray, does he have anything for our leader?
Oh, absolutely, Rick. No doubt about it. And one of the things I think what makes Kyle Busch such a great race car driver is his ability to adjust on the chassis. Now, you know, Kyle has won in this series a lot, actually 9 times, and 7 of those have been in what they call his favorite truck, old chassis number 11. But I believe old 11 is retired now, and Richie Waters, his crew chief, brought out this brand new chassis today, number 27, and it's one they hadn't been in before. So they had a lot of work to do to try to make it better, and it has been terrible loose for Kyle Busch, but they've been adjusting on it here in the pit stops. They took 2 rounds down on the track bar, took some air out of the right rear tire and put a little air into the left rear tire. All of those things to help tighten up Kyle, and he says right now the truck is much, much better.
Well, Ray, it looked like he had a handful of that last corner. Would you believe that Kyle Busch has led over 3,800 laps this year in NASCAR between the 3 series? 3,800 laps, and he's won 20 times.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
Right now he's wrestling a truck and running second, wrestling it because it's trying to get away from him. He's fighting that truck and closing in on our leader.
We've had a few guys fight their race trucks. Ron Hornaday hasn't had problems, but other guys have. One of those being Terry Cook. He got into the wall early, but it's been side-by-side, door-to-door racing at Atlanta. Welcome back. We want to take a look again at our Aaron's Lucky Guest trivia question. Again, Michael Waltrip making his 1,000th start tomorrow in all of NASCAR starts. And we wanted to know how many of your 1,000 starts have come in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
You tell us.
8 starts.
Well, I don't have to tell you. You're right, obviously. But here's another question. Phil Parsons, what's Michael's best finish in the Truck Series?
5th.
Close.
3rd.
You don't know?
4th.
It was 4th. 4th in Las Vegas.
I thought I was going to win at Charlotte that night. That was fun.
Ron Hornaday out in front. And while we were at break, the 59 actually came onto pit road. Adam, what's going on?
Left rear loose, and you can see him taking the tire away, going to get another wheel put on it, but that was the issue for Terry Cook. Felt a vibration, brought it down pit road. Tough break for him. He was running in the top 10.
Now he finds himself 2 laps down, Adam.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to overcome. These guys have put so many trucks 1 lap down. He's got about 7 trucks right now that are 1 lap down. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Terry to overcome being 2 laps down right now. And such a good run going. I think he was running about 7th or 8th when that wheel became loose.
We had talked about Terry Cook getting into that Jim Harris trucking, number 59 in Martinsville, and then having such a great run here, but having to come onto pit road, that definitely has dampened his spirits today. The 16 of Brian Scott, another solid run for him, running 10th right now behind Travis Kvapil.
Brian has done a nice job in this, essentially a Bill Davis Toyota, even though it comes out of the Express Motorsports shops. Jeff Hensley, longtime crew chief for Bill Davis, is calling the shots for Brian. You can see he finished 7th at Talladega, which was his best career finish. Looking to better that a little bit, and he's running in the top 10 right now.
He's finished 17th at this racetrack, so he wants to improve on that. Actually, Brian's a pretty good golfer. I played golf with him this week.
Is he?
Yeah, he beat me.
Well, that doesn't mean he's any good.
Well, that's obviously true, but he does. He's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the fact that 3 of the final 4 races, including today, are on 1.5 mile tracks. If I'm Bill Davis Racing, I'm nervous right now.
Right.
Got a point lead, but the best BDR truck is running in 8th spot. That's where Scott Speed is. Brian Scott just moves up to Speed, just moved up to 7th, but Brian Scott in 10th. Johnny Benson all the way down in 16th spot. The next to the last truck on the lead lap.
Right. I mean, he's in jeopardy of losing his lead lap status.
He is, but that if he can stay on the lead lap or get the Aaron's lucky dog if he does get lapped, that's a temporary situation. All the rest of these guys came down pit road, got 4 fresh tires. Johnny got 2 scuffs on the right side that he had a few laps on, so he will be better once he gets tires on the same thing as everybody else. As we have a battle right now for the 9th spot. Travis Kvapil, that Zaxby's Ford has it, and Brian Scott's going after it.
Adam Alexander.
Let's talk a little bit about the aforementioned Travis Kvapil, riding 9th here today. Pretty solid for them. And you know, Roush Fenway Racing has never won in a truck here, despite the fact that they have 10 victories in NASCAR's top 2 series, Sprint Cup and of course the Nationwide Series. But Kvapil running in the trucks for the first time since New Hampshire, where he finished 3rd, and he could get another top 5 today. The 09 pretty good at this stage, Ray.
And actually, Adam, a Ford has never won in the Craftsman Truck Series here at Atlanta, but Eric Darnell's truck is pretty good. He said he's very happy with it. It was a little bit tight early on in the run, but they made air pressure adjustments on it. Matt Pusha, his crew chief last time, told him he might want to try moving up on the track just a little bit too. Right now, Darnell running in 6th, but really no one around him to race at the current time in that Northern Tool and Equipment Ford. Adam?
Terry Cook continues to struggle on track. He brushed the wall just a moment ago, and he, talking on the radio, continues to focus his frustration on that left rear tire. He said it is just too loose, and there must be an issue not with the wheel they took off, but with the truck itself. And as he talks about it, Danny Rollins said, "You've got to stay out and hope this thing goes green. That's our only chance." I'm not sure TC going to be able to make it hold out that long.
Ryan Newman and Kyle Busch battling right now. This is for 2nd as Newman has reeled in Kyle Busch and goes to the high side. Let's see if he's got anything for him.
Both these trucks are running on pace with our leader, Ron Hornaday. Ron's got about a 2.5-second lead. These guys can match his lap times right now, but Phil, we've seen before when they start to put a little heat on Ron, he just ups the ante a little bit.
That's right. It looks like Ron really can run as fast as he wants to run right now. All 3 of those trucks that last lap ran within a 0.5 of each other.
You can see Kyle Busch on the inside of Ryan Newman.
Newman's going to make the move to the high side. Does he take the position away? He does when they cross the start-finish line. So Newman gets credited for running 2nd that lap. And it looks as though he's going to try to keep that momentum up on the high side of the track. Another truck we haven't talked a lot about that's in the top 5 is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's running 5th right now in that other Billy Ballou race truck.
See, Jason White makes a move around Johnny Benson. That drops Johnny down to the 17th spot.
The last truck on the lead lap.
And like Phil said, he's just hoping for a caution. He needs something to happen pretty soon so he can get 4 tires. At least get on the same tires as everybody else so he can see what he's got, if he's improved that truck any at all.
Yeah, Johnny's going to find himself a lap down in about 4 more laps. He's running about a 2nd slower than our leaders right now.
And Johnny Benson is going to fear the next truck that he sees in his rearview mirror. Ron Hornaday said, "This is great. I might get the points lead back at Atlanta." On Speed, go beyond the highlights and beyond the stats as Speed connects you to the world of motorsports like you've never experienced before. The Speed Report, Sunday 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only right here on Speed. Caution has come out for the 4th time. It is debris on the racetrack that brought this caution out.
Timely caution for Johnny Benson.
Huge.
Ron Hornaday had driven right up on his back bumper, and the interesting thing, I think, Phil, for Johnny was Jason White was just in front of Johnny. Hornaday gets both those guys in one lap. All of a sudden,
Johnny's still a lap down.
Johnny's not the Aaron's lucky dog, so really timely caution for that team, and that's what you got to have when you're racing for a championship and your truck isn't everything you want it to be. You need a break here and there, and we can consider the fact that Johnny put on 2 sets of tires to everyone else's 1 early, and he had to go on old tires during that run there, not going a lap down. That's a pretty good break.
It really is. New, you can see our lucky dog right there, Aaron's lucky dog, Chad McCumbee. That will leave us with 18 trucks on the lead lap. And this is, as you mentioned, a huge break for Johnny Benson, because now he can put his last set of tires on like everybody else. Will anybody gamble now, Michael, and say, okay, I'm not going to put tires on. I want to try to see if I can hold off 15, 20 laps, get another caution, and then have fresher tires than anybody else? Is anybody going to do that?
I doubt it, but if you're running 10th or 12th and you ain't won one of these things before, why not take a chance? I mean, the worst you're going to do is fall back to 17th, 18th. I'd rather finish 17th or 18th and know I had a chance to win than just be status quo and finish 12th or 13th.
What about a Rick Crawford right now running 13th? Rick, his teammate Brendan Gaughan's running 12th, Donnie Lee 14th. That would be the guys, I think, that would maybe try to take a chance on that if anybody's going to do it.
I'm sure they've talked about it. I don't foresee anyone doing it, but I like that strategy. Let's just mix it up. We can't win the way we are. Let's do something to try to swipe a victory from these boys.
Field coming on to pit road now. Adam Alexander.
And Ryan Newman said he can't win like he is either. No strategy here, just make the truck better. 4 tires, fuel the call for him, air pressure and track bar to tighten it up. And then you've got Todd Bodine riding in the 4th position when the caution came out. He is still too tight. 4 tires fuel, they too will do track bar and also make an air pressure adjustment trying to get Bodine another victory, right?
4 tires for the VFW Chevrolet for Ron Hornaday and a little air pressure in the right rear. You see Kyle Busch getting 4 tires also, and believe it or not, guys, they went down 4 rounds on the track bar. It is buried all the way to the ground.
Boy, Kyle Busch is going to lose huge track position this time. You can see the top 10 right. Kyle Busch will come out in 10th spot, will lose 7 spots on this pit stop.
Johnny Benson just coming out of his pit stall now, so he will restart behind quite a few trucks as we get ready for the final 38 laps of racing from Atlanta.
They're coming. When the moon rises on All Hallows Eve, the ghosts and goblins of NASCAR will descend on Texas Motor Speedway. Who will get tricks and who will get treats? The special Halloween edition of the setup starts at 8:30, only on Speed. Be there if you dare.
That was a bat.
That
I mean,
scares me.
seriously, that was
That
a
scares
bat
me.
that was on the fence.
It's Halloween coming up next week.
It is, and it will be, well, it's Halloween night the next time the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
exactly.
I'd put a pumpkin or something on my truck for luck.
There's an idea. Let's find out what's going on with the 51. What strategy are they employing, right?
Well, just as you guys were saying, will anybody have tires left down here? Let me show you right here. Here is a set of stickers that Kyle Busch still has in the pits. Why? That's because they put on a set of scuff tires that have already been on the truck. Real quick, we'll get with Richie Waters. Got your strategy working again, Richie?
Well, we hope it does. We've been loose all day, can't keep up to Ron, so our strategy is try to put new tires on at the end here.
All right, we'll see if we get the caution that he needs to make it work.
Now when that really gets on your nerves is that this race doesn't have another caution and the checker flag falls and he's still got a set of stickers sitting in his pit. That'll get on, but he did just what we talked about, Phil. He said, I can't win this race. I can't beat Ron like I am. Let's try something different.
They know they can finish 2nd or 3rd if they do the same strategy as everybody else.
But
they're here for more than that.
That'll mess up Kyle's record.
Exactly.
Since he's only won at this racetrack every time he started a truck.
I like that strategy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's what we were hoping somebody would do. Is Richie Waters the only one that did it? I think he is.
So, in other words, am I hearing you guys agree with Richie now on his pit strategy?
Well, don't we always?
Yeah, exactly.
Into the wall again. That's Travis Crawford. No, that's Crawford.
Rick Crawford that time.
Rick Crawford just a little high. That won't hurt that truck, Phil, I don't believe. I think he just scraped along it.
We saw Terry Cook do that earlier and really kept up, passing a lot of trucks, and had problems later with the left rear wheel being loose.
These safer barriers really, really cushion the blow. Obviously, they're built for the driver, but they also help the trucks keep them more durable. You can slide along the wall. It gives a little bit, and you don't lose much ground.
Denny Hamlin's making the pass on the left, and we see Rick Crawford rubbing the wall there on the right side of your screen.
Incidental contact right there. There's Johnny Benson left of your screen, battling with the 10 of Brendan Gaughan. That is a battle right there for about the 12th spot.
That's as good as Johnny's been since part of the race, Phil.
He was glad to get those old tires off, those old scuffs off the right side, and get the same tires on here that everybody else has, with the exception of Kyle Busch, who we know now has tires that have already been on that truck during this race.
Mike Skinner running 4 laps back. Here's a battle for 4th. Denny Hamlin in that 15 on the inside of the 99 of Eric Darnell.
Both of these guys have had good, solid races today. Both have been up in the top 10 since the very early part of this race. Denny Hamlin started back a little farther than that, but made his way up into the top 10 fairly quickly.
Those trucks are in a wide there. Kyle Busch is in the middle of that somewhere on those older tires. And Phil, we talk about how important tires are. He's given up a second a lap right now. He ran a 3.20 and the leader ran a 32.13. So big deficit now. He's hoping to take advantage of some fresh tires later.
You know, when we talk about our points battle, we're talking about, okay, Ron Hornaday wants to get up and he wants to lead a lap, get those 5 bonus points. Well, he's already led the most laps of anyone, so he gets another 5 bonus points. So now he gets 10 bonus points here in this race, and he's taken over the lead as they run on the racetrack.
Great battle right here. TJ Bell, the 7 on the inside. Scott Speed. Here comes Brian Scott to make it through wide for just a moment. Rick Crawford battling back from that bouncing off the fence of a couple laps ago.
And he's moving to the inside of that 51 of Kyle Busch, who Kyle Busch, we've heard, put scuffs on that truck. So he has a fresh set of tires waiting for him toward the end of this race.
And Kyle's going to run that truck as hard as he can. He's not going to have anything for that. He's probably running up in the top 5, I would guess. But he knows that if the caution comes out anytime now, these guys have about 10 laps of green flag racing on their trucks. If the caution comes out, he's going to come down pit road and probably have the best tires on the racetrack.
Now, this is one of those things, be careful what you wish for, because with 30 laps to go, it's not quite time for that caution yet that Kyle Busch is looking for.
He'd like to see about maybe 10, 15 more laps.
When it gets down to 15, he's going to say, okay, now please come out. and if he can get it anyway up to with 5 to go, he still can win this race.
Johnny Benson continues to move forward, but the man he's chasing has been on a country ride, it seems like, today. Ron Hornaday has been dominating at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman trying to catch him. Welcome back to the Easy Go 200 here on Speed. Ron Hornaday, Ryan Newman, your top 2. Then it's Todd Bodine, Denny Hamlin, and Eric Darnell running in the top 5.
Scott Speed remains in the 6th position right here.
A reminder, folks, immediately following the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race will be the nationwide race from Memphis. That will be simulcast, so make sure to stick right here on Speed for more NASCAR racing today.
A bunch of the Cup drivers are on their way, or probably over to Memphis right now, getting ready to start that race in a little while.
Let's drop back through the field, and we will start with the 33 of Ron Hornaday and Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, this particular truck that Ron is driving is making just its 2nd start in Truck Series racing. It was brand new at Vegas, and Ron Hornaday has been happy with this truck through the practice and through the race. They really haven't made very many changes. It's pretty much been on a rail. Adam?
And you talk about the new truck for Ron Hornaday. This is an old one for his teammate out of the KHI stables that Ryan Newman is driving today, and he has been fairly quiet on the radio as well. Luce has been his only only complaint, but I think in his Truck Series debut, he would be happy with a runner-up finish. Just behind him, Todd Bodine. Now, a moment ago on the radio, we heard Todd say, I've got a vibration in the right front. He has been quiet since that time. Todd Bodine, coming off a top 5 a week ago at Martinsville, would look very good in a third-place finish here this afternoon. And then there's Denny Hamlin, making only his second Truck Series start of the year. In March, he ran at Martinsville. Didn't go so good. Problems, he finished outside the top 20. He's made up for it today. Starting in the 20th position, Hamlin currently 4th in the 15, Ray.
Running 5th is the number 99 Northern Tool and Equipment Ford of Eric Darnell. Now, his sponsor made an announcement earlier this week that Eric will be running part-time in the Nationwide Series next year with Northern Tool and Equipment. It won't be a full run, but there is still an opportunity that he may run some truck racing next season. And Jack Roush said if the right sponsor comes along, they'd give it another go. Adam?
Every young driver has his focus on 2 words, and that is track time. And young Scott Speed going to get plenty of it throughout the remainder of 2008, running both in the Truck Series and the Sprint Cup Series. Double dipping last week in his Cup debut, doing it again this weekend, and that track time paying off. Speed looking for another top 10 here today. It would be his 7th of 08, Ray.
Well, we've already documented what a great couple of races it's been for T.J. Bell in his 5th race in a row where he's running in the top 10. And let's give a shout out to Home for the Holidays. That's on the hood of this truck, and that's a special organization that helps places brand new pets with brand new families. I think it's pretty cool. Check it out on their website. And the 51 right behind him, Kyle Busch, holding his own right there in a spot right now. But Richie Waters, his crew chief, getting a little bit nervous. They're hoping to get that caution before lap 120. Adam?
Brian Scott riding 9th and trying to bring home his 4th top 10 finish of the year. And you can't ignore the fact that they have gotten very successful on a consistent basis since they made the move in manufacturers to Toyota and are getting that support from Bill Davis Racing. And it's also not by accident they're having success with a guy like Jeff Hensley above the pit box. He's getting challenged now by point leader Johnny Benson, Ray.
And I'll tell you, Adam, for all the folks that are big Johnny Benson fans and were sitting in the grandstands today, listen to the video, they got an earful. Johnny has said this truck has absolutely been a mess, but what an unbelievable comeback as Benson now inside the top 10. On that last round of pit stops, they put 2 spring rubbers in the right rear, trying to make that thing better, but Johnny's been fighting a vibration all day and said that he believes that something is very seriously wrong with the 23. But what a great points battle we've got going in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. -8 points right now for Johnny Benson.
And actually, Johnny Benson is leading Ron Hornaday by 8 points as they run on the racetrack. But it's a dominant performance today by Ron Hornaday. He's been out front the most. Can he stay out front? Or will Ryan Newman be the 4th person to add his name to winning his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race? And welcome back to Atlanta. Craftsman has been with this series for 14 years. And the big announcement coming this week that the new sponsor starting in 2009 will be Camping World. But what a great job Craftsman has done building this series to where it is today.
We're just about to get a race on our hands here. Ron Hornaday has lost about a second of his lead to his teammate Ryan Newman. Ryan's consistently running faster on the racetrack right now than is Ron.
Ryan Newman running on the top of the racetrack, and Ron Hornaday has been running right on the bottom.
He'll go to the bottom in turn 3 and 4 here to pass a lap truck. That's been his MO lately. He's been on the bottom in 3 and 4, top in 1 and 2. That's sort of a line I found in practice this morning that was working well for my Cup car. He has passing Ryan. He's going to have Ron Hornaday by the time they get to turn 1.
Adam.
And Ernie Cope just said on the radio, if you keep doing that, you're going to catch him. Cope, the crew chief for Ryan Newman, as you see the 2 truck going to the high side. And it doesn't matter what happens between these 2. If they stay 1-2, it would be the 2nd time this season that KHI has had a 1-2 finish. New leader, Newman on the point.
Ryan Newman made it look easy going by Ron Hornaday. And so Ryan Newman looking to win his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start.
We watched truck owner right there, Kevin Harvick, left of our screen there. I'm telling you, I would hate to see this race finish like that and be Kevin Harvick and this point championship come down to about 10 points or less at the end of the season. Wow.
Take a look at this. Ron Hornaday looks to be battling back on the bottom of the racetrack. There's no giving up with Ron Hornaday.
Did you see Harvick? He kind of perked up when that happened. He's like, what just went down there? And Harvick, Hornaday had been so much faster than everybody on the track, but then Ryan just ran him straight down. Can he drive away from him? That's the question.
Guys, one other strategy that is not going to play out as we have 6 laps of racing to go is Kyle Busch leaving that good set of tires on pit road.
I think it was a great strategy, though. It's not going to work out. It doesn't look like it, although we're not going to call it done yet. Right. But, I mean, that was their only shot to win this race, they felt like. So, you know, they were here to do that. You see him racing right now. As we watch the leader, Ryan Newman, he's racing right now with T.J. Bell, is Kyle Busch, and that's for the 8th position. But I think it was a great strategy. It may not work here. As you can see there's that battle right there for the 8th position. But I'm telling you, I applaud Richie for giving it a try.
And I applaud Kyle for driving the heck out of that truck on those old tires, Ray. He's just sideways, but hanging on.
And Michael, I wanted to add a little bit of something what Phil was saying. Do you guys remember that one season when Mike Bliss passed Greg Biffle on the racetrack and took a position away from him? And Biffle, they were on the same team at the same year, and Biffle ended up losing the championship that year. So Phil, you're right, it could certainly play in. But I asked Ryan Newman and Kevin Harvick before this race if there was going to be any kind of team orders to try to help Hornaday, and Kevin Harvick said, "Are you kidding me? We don't race that way."
Kyle Busch was sideways behind T.J. Bell there coming out of the turn.
He's been that way for about 30 laps. Ever since he restarted on those old tires, he's fought that truck, giving it all he's got to try to, look at that, just sideways every inch of the way and gaining on the truck ahead of him.
Yeah, and they have a great relationship, Kyle Busch and Richie Waters, and I'm sure Kyle was consulted when Richie made that decision, and I'm sure Kyle signed off on it because he's here to win that race. He wants to make it 4 times in a row here at Atlanta, and we're getting late here. We've only got 3 laps to go.
3 laps of racing remaining as the battle continues between Bodine and Speed for that 4th spot. Here comes Hornaday once again. Hornaday looked to the inside of Ryan Newman, kind of one of those, oh, by the way, I'm still here, Ryan, don't forget about me.
You can see Hornaday and Newman right to the bottom track in turns 3 and 4. Look for Newman to go to the top side in 1 and 2. He's found that to be the groove that he likes for that truck. 2 to go.
2 laps of racing. Ryan Newman in front of Ron Hornaday. Hornaday has gone to the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2. Newman has stayed on the high side, and that's where Hornaday has been able to close the gap just a bit. Can Hornaday stay with him as they come out on the backstretch?
Wow, he definitely gained on him a lot.
On him down there in 1 and 2. Both of them go to the bottom here in 3 and 4. See if Ron can gain a half a truck length. Looks like he's down underneath of him a little bit. A run off turn 4.
A great run for Ron Hornaday as they come to the start-finish line. 1 lap of racing to go. Hornaday's in the lead.
Ryan Newman got sideways off of turn 4 that time. Ron Hornaday,
he has
side by side,
so strong in 1 and 2 down on the bottom, but on the top. Here comes Ryan Newman. The momentum will carry forward. Ryan Newman back in front now as they go down the backstretch. Look at team owner Kevin Harvick.
Wow.
The final turns here at Atlanta.
What a turn 1 and 2 by Ryan Newman. He needed that corner and he got it. He's going to win this race.
Ryan Newman making his first ever Craftsman Truck Series start, and he will win at Atlanta.
Great deal, guys.
What a job by Ryan Newman and Ron Hornaday, too. And this whole entire KHI team.
Great job, Ryan. Thank you very much.
31 points is the difference between Hornaday and Johnny Benson. Unofficially, Benson coming home in 7th.
What a rally by Johnny Benson.
Yeah.
Trip Bruce and that team. All throughout the race, he was 2nd in the points. Late in the going, he started passing trucks, picking guys off, and Ryan Newman took the most points away from Ron Hornaday, and it allowed Johnny Benson to leave Atlanta in a truck that wasn't very good with a 30-some point lead.
Adam Alexander.
Ryan came on the radio and said just fast enough. This one a long time in coming, Ernie. Congratulations. How special is this?
This is real special. My son Blake having to be here with me today, so it's awesome. It couldn't get no better than this.
Nobody works any harder. They haven't been rewarded for their hard work. Today they are. Ernie Cope in victory lane with Ryan Newman.
Celebration taking place right on the front stretch in front of the fans. 13 Cup wins for Ryan Newman, 7 nationwide wins, and now his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win in his first ever start. Only 4 drivers can say that they have won in their first ever start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We'll hear from Ryan Newman when we come back. He'll be in victory lane. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. A new winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series about to climb out of his truck. Adam.
Ryan Newman came on the NASCAR scene 8 years ago. He had never been in a truck until today, and he's 1 for 1 winning at Atlanta. And he could hardly get out of the truck. Congratulations from his teammate for the day, Ron Hornaday. First off, talk about those closing laps. That was quite a duo between you and Hornaday.
Yeah, it was. You know, he raced me clean. I got to say that for first and foremost. Thank Kevin and Delana for what they did to give me this opportunity. It's a great run and a great day for KHI. What's the name on the front of this thing anyway?
ACL?
ACL. Yeah, we got to thank them. We got to thank them. No, you know, everybody involved. You know, thank the fans for coming out today. It was you know, it's been a rough weekend. Thank the fans for coming out to Atlanta Motor Speedway, but didn't really know what to expect. I was pretty loose the whole race, and I saw him start slipping a couple times off of 4, and I just started reeling him in a little bit. And I got the high line in 1 and 2 and the bottom line in 3 and 4, and just things came together for us.
All these years in the sport, but never in a truck. How fun was this for you?
It was a lot of fun, but Atlanta Motor Speedway is a lot of fun too. It upped at 1 level on the fun meter.
American Commercial Lines is the sponsor on the hood of the truck. And you know what, when you and Hornaday, I
knew what it was, but
okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure we got plenty of play for the sponsors. What was the difference there when you made the pass coming down the back straightaway?
Well, I just, you know, he left me room. He could have pinched me off twice, even on the lap and a half to go there. But you know, he left me room. He raced me like a gentleman. Obviously, he's racing for a championship, and I'm aware of that. So you know, we didn't. They say rubbing's racing, but we race without rubbing.
Congratulations to Ryan Newman, a winner today, and Ray with the man he beat to the finish line.
And that would be Ron Hornaday, and he climbed out of the truck saying, man, just that close, but there was some pretty exciting racing there at the end, Ron.
Hats off to KHI. This is what it's all about, and that's what that truck's supposed to be running like. And to try to go out there, and I just missed a corner off it too, but the VFW Chevrolet was awesome, and to lead that many laps and do it, that just says what Kevin Delane is doing up there. And I got to thank Rick Wren and all the guys in Camping World for letting VFW get on there. This is for all the folks out there in Iraq and everything, and all our military. But good day, led a lot of laps. Other than that, I didn't know what that yellow was for, you know, when I was trying to put Donnie down a lap. But other than that, we'll take it, go on. Like we said, we got 3 left now.
What do you think about these final 3 races and your chances at another championship?
Well, yeah, I'm just proud of the whole team. You know, Bush has won this thing the last 3 times, and to outrun him today, and he was that dominant, and he's run different lines. So, you know, and then Ryan comes in here and steals my thunder, darn it, on the last couple of laps, and that's what just shows how close these trucks are. Ryan was running up top, and I was running the bottom, and I missed it. But the next 3, I'm looking forward to. I didn't think I could slip and slide that good here, and I learned a lot watching Bush last year here. So. I got to thank Kevin Delane again. This is awesome.
It was fun to watch. Ron Hornaday with a good battle with his teammate Ryan Newman. Hornaday finishes 2nd for the 3rd year in a row here at Atlanta.
That last lap pass, or the pass for the win, cost Ron Hornaday 15 points. He may need those points when we get to Homestead.
Points battle tightening up here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now let's see how Ryan Newman and his number 2 American Commercial Lines Chevy team had the winning touch in today's race.
He definitely stayed in the game here. He stayed in that throttle off that corner, was able to get by Ron Hornaday, his teammate, for the lead. Ron had dominated this race. He led 110 laps of this race, but he didn't lead the most important one, the last one.
And then Ron, he rallied. He got back after him. He just came up a little bit short.
Another 1-2 finish for Kevin Harvick Incorporated.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on Speed by Toyota, moving forward, and brought to you in part by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Celebration continuing in victory lane for Ryan Newman, that number 2 KHI team. American Commercial Lines Chevy Silverado. Take a look at our unofficial point standings. Just 31 points now, the difference between Benson and Hornaday.
Mikey, I just can't get over the fact that it was 15-point difference between first and second. And that point lead would be 16 points right now, not 31. That could loom large when we get to Homestead.
It'll definitely cause for a little bit of lack of sleep between now and then, I promise.
Hat dance continues in Victory Lane. We'll be back. A sunny day in Atlanta sees another first-time winner for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ryan Newman, in his first ever start, finds Victory Lane here in Atlanta.
But in typical Atlanta fashion, we didn't know who was going to win until the checker flag fell. What a great battle all the way to the end.
Less than a four-tenths of a second margin of victory. Only one time it's been over 1 second.
Another great battle here. We're going to go off to Memphis Motorsports Park for the Nationwide Series race with Marty Reed.